Hello and welcome to Bryce Book and Film. Now, in order to expand my horizons and read different things that I wouldn't ordinarily read, I read a Mills and Boon book. Do you remember those slushy short novels, romance novels your gran used to read when you was a kid? Mills and Boon romance. Now this has got a price tag on it of 5p. It's not the longest book you'll ever read, less than 200 pages. 189 pages in all. And I've got to tell you, although it is a slushy romance novel written by Margaret Mayo, who I don't know much about, I've got to be honest. Let's see if there's a date on the book. First published in 1984. So I was about 8 or 9 when this book was first published. It's about a young lady called Susie Kingswood, who leaves England and flies to Australia to look for her long-lost brother. Her brother, Carl Kingswood, has gone to Australia to make his fortune, get out away from the trouble he's in at home, and there he meets and is employed by Latham Elliott, the horse stud owner. He runs a horse stud. But prior to Susie getting there, Carl and Latham have a big falling out. There's a big row. Carl has been stealing funds from Latham, and then a fight ensues. And Carl uses his horse to attack Latham Elliott, and he's left a big scar on his cheek, and he's disfigured him, and all his chest is sort of torn up and everything. So when Susie gets there to find her sort of long lost older brother, she's met with an extremely hostile, very surly Latham Elliott, who doesn't want anything to do with her, but then decides that he's going to keep her at the horse stud to repay Carl's debt. The money that Carl has stolen, she's going to repay it by being a housemaid, basically. So he keeps her there, and it becomes a battle of wills. Will Susie try and run away, and Latham tries to keep her. That he keeps her there, and eventually she decides. But I say eventually, after about 5 pages, Susie decides that she really fancies Latham, and it's classic Mills and Boonery, basically. She really fancies him. She can't let her feelings show, because every time Latham touches her or goes near her, she pulls away, and then he thinks it's because he's got this big scar on his cheek, and he's got this torn up chest and all these marks and scars and things. But it's not that at all. Susie's not bothered by the physical marks. She's more interested in the man beneath the shell, the inner workings of the man. She really likes him, and we go through a lot of missteps and miscues and mistakes before we get to the end, where we realise that Latham Elliott has fancied Susie all along. It's just classic Mills and Boon. I mean, 5p. I found it on the bookcase in my front room, and I said to my wife, Mrs. Grills, I said, "Well, whose is this?" And Mrs. Grills said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well, it's in your section of books." So I've never seen it before. But yeah. So it's classic Mills and Boon, classic love story. It's only short. It'll take you a couple of days to read if you put your mind to it. We've also got, mixed in with this, we've also got Latham then decides, because Carl knows a woman called Alison Cordell, it's discovered that Alison knows where Carl is. So Susie gets to Alison, then Alison tells Latham, but Latham and Alison have had a relationship, but then she left him when he was all disfigured. Because she wants a rich, good-looking bloke, not just a rich, ugly bloke. So then it's discovered that Alison knows where Carl is. The feelings between Susie and Latham are becoming evident, but then Latham decides that he's going to start seeing Alison again, much to the chagrin of Susie, who thinks, well, that's it, it's over now. I've lost out to this woman. She's a better looking woman, even if she's a complete moron, complete shallow, superficial gold digger, basically. But then we discover that Latham Elliott has been playing sort of double agent all along, and he's only been talking to Alison again to find out information on where Carl Kingswood is. And then Carl Kingswood appears at the horse stud, and so Susie and Carl are reunited. Susie and Latham then sort of get it together. They decide they're going to start a proper relationship. Alison's off in the distance. Classic Mills and Boon. Classic Mills and Boonery. But that being said, I did actually enjoy the story of Branded by Margaret Mayo. I'm going to give this story, I'm going to give it 2 coffee cups. 2 coffee cups, because 2 coffee cups, 2 hot coffee cups actually, 2 hot coffee cups, because it's not a bad story. I actually quite enjoyed reading this. I know that it's a slushy romance thing that your gran used to read when you was a kid and everything else, but it actually wasn't too bad at all to read. And it says on the back, it was hardly surprising that Latham Elliott should hate her brother, Carl, Susie thought ruefully, when she went all the way to Australia to look for Carl. After the terrible injury that Carl had caused him, it was natural that Latham should want to get his revenge. But for the same reason, it was hardly likely that Latham would think kindly of her either, let alone return the love she soon felt for him. For the only woman Latham really wanted was Alison Cordell, who had hurt him almost as much as Carl had done. Now on the back is some prices on the back. Singapore $4.25, Malaysia $4.25, Australia $2.25. It's got an asterisk that says recommended, and in New Zealand $2.95. So Singapore and Malaysia is $4.25, Australia's $2.25, New Zealand $2.95. Bit strange on the pricing, but then it was 1994. I don't know when this exact copy was done. In the back is a special introduction. We will send you 4 exciting Mills and Boon romances free and without obligation when you complete and return this coupon. There's a coupon in the back. Don't know if you can make that out. There we are. 2 hot coffee cups, definitely. Take 4 exciting books absolutely free. Love, romance, intrigue, all are captured for you by Mills and Boon's top selling authors. By becoming a regular reader of Mills and Boon's romances, you can enjoy 6 superb new titles every month, plus a whole range of special benefits. Oh yeah. Next month's romances from Mills and Boon: Bond of Vengeance, California Dreaming, Sweet Tempest, Legally Bound, The Passionate Escape, A Naked Flame, Too Far Too Fast, yikes, Year's Happy Ending, Viking Invader, Wanting, Once a Lover, and Run So Far. So classic Mills and Boonery. Classic Mills and Boonery. But I would definitely, I'd read another Mills and Boon. They're not the worst books in the world, would you know? Who knew? Mrs. Grills is convinced that I read one of these in a day once. Not this story, but Mrs. Grills is convinced, but because I can't remember doesn't mean it didn't happen. So there we go. Branded by Margaret Mayo, published by Mills and Boon. 2 hot coffee cups on the coffee cup scale in my bid to read something different and broaden my horizons. So yeah, if you see a Mills and Boon book in a charity shop or something, or at a boot fair, give give it a go. Give it a go. Not the worst thing you'll ever read. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.